Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Socio-economic issues remain the top predicament as it relates to youth development. This revelation was made by Director of Social Development, Family and Youth in the Ministry of National Mobilization, Marissa Finch-Burke. In a reflective interview of the matters which have affected the youth, Burke said her ministry continually formulates programs to help not only young people but their households as they have to return to these dwelling quarters with the same challenges. She pointed out that they have and will be working with numerous private and public entities to help alleviate the concerns of youth. She pointed out that young people face issues that ripple into their livelihoods overall, and the general perspective must be the improved the situation.
Yes, we had a large reduction in poverty based on the prior report, which is excellent, but it means that we still have our work cut out for us, and that is why we did the reform to cater for those misfortunes in our society, and we also have to consider natural disasters, which has begun to play an important role in truly defining the social class of a family. Because due to a disaster, a family can move down the poverty line rather than out of poverty. You can have a house today, and due to a disaster, you no longer have any form of possession or assets.
The director said that to help identify those most in need, the ministry has formulated a form of clientele profiling, or household making, to give information to help rectify the issues. She also encouraged persons to share their information freely to ensure that government can assist and address the issues appropriately and effectively.
That's why we went the way of household mapping. It's what we call client profiling. If we profile the family, we know the foundation to use to build their lives. And we have also brought on board a counseling framework so that as part of, yes, we could be giving a social protection package or a public assistance, but except families begin to understand, how do I spend and prioritize my finances? What are the emotional challenges do I face when money isn't present? What do I go through when there are other issues that are not economically based? How do I treat with them as a person? That's why we coin it to say that one of the major challenges is the socio-economic position of households.
6 days into the new year, the Ministry of Tourism is prepared to implement all plans to ensure that the 2015 tourism season is a successful one. During an interview with SVG-TV earlier today, Minister Mackey said that the 2014 season was a good one for the country, which has resulted in the groundwork being laid for this year's tourism objectives. He stated that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is unique in what it has to offer to visitors, highlighting that these features will be capitalized on.
Advantage here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is that we have 22 islands and cays. So you can visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines and have several experiences in the one destination. Arguably, we have the most diverse tourism product in the region. We have been working on, as I indicated, a number of the tourism sites. We focus on at least 20 sites each year, and we do major work in terms of enhancing these tourism sites. We're improving on our room stock, and we just had over 500 applications for over 500 new rooms that will be added to our stock. We're working with all of the stakeholders to ensure that they understand the role that they will play in the coming months and years. And we have been looking at and discussing development of, in addition to all of the various festivals we have, because we can also capitalize on festivals. Our niche markets would be diving and honeymoons and ecotourism, but we want to add to that, so we want to concentrate on festivals.
The tourism minister said 2014 was an exciting year, adding that a lot was achieved within the tourism industry.
In 2014, we were able to have passed in the House of Parliament the Tourism Authority Act, which deals with the question of standards. So that was passed in 2014, and in 2015 we are going to be implementing all of those requirements so that we ensure that all of the stakeholders meet the minimum standards that would be required. One of the very important aspects, and we are more or less close to completion, is the Maritime and Hospitality Training Institute at Diamond. Is virtually, the physical structure is virtually complete. So in 2015 we'll be able to commission that facility and have the community college assist us in implementing the curriculum.
Restorative work will continue at the 14 tourism sites throughout this country. That's the word from Director of National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Andrew Wilson. In an interview with SVG-TV, Wilson said the statutory body responsible for the various sites received funding in 2007 to 2009 from the European Union, the EU, as a tourism development initiative which is rolled out by central government. He noted that so far 7 of the 14 sites have already received refurbishment, and many of these sites were in need of work since they were impacted severely by natural and man-made elements.
That's the one I will watch for at national parks as regards the management of the recreation sites to ensure that visitors have a quality experience when they visit the site. So the work that we would have undertaken during the last quarter, we actually targeted around 7 of our 14 sites, because the project that we basically used to fund these improvement and maintenance work would have been primarily through a central government capital project, really. And the project is actually a rollover project, so it started in 2014 and will continue to 2015 and 2016. So from central government alone, we'll probably benefit from around $400,000 in funding to do upgrade and maintenance work. So in 2014, we have targeted about 7 sites, equal amount on the leeward and the windward side, and we would have undertaken some, upgrade in terms of basic facilities and also areas that we reckon is needed to have some major, maintenance work done. We would have actually undertook those work.
The Director of National Parks also thanked the public for their patronage at the various recreation sites. He noted that this helps in the maintenance of the various facilities. He explained that extensive research was conducted to ensure that fees were not steep.
So now what we have happening at most of our sites, we have improved site facilities that has to be maintained and operated. There's supplies that has to be purchased into the toiletries. There's maintenance work that need to be done at the various sites, and also there's a staff that is present to ensure that you could have a better experience that could welcome you at the site, that maintains the sites daily. So all this carries a cost, plus there's utilities that has to be paid for. So the fees that are charged actually helps to in a major way to offset the operational costs of these sites, really. And they were charged in a very careful manner in that we would have actually conducted a visitor willingness to pay study prior to the implementation of the fees that allowed us to basically determine how our ideas in terms of what visitors, both local and foreigners, would actually be willing to pay. So the fees are in most cases pitched way below the willingness to pay figures that we would have, but it has been a major improvement in terms of and generally persons are willing to pay, particularly foreign visitors, because they expect that when they visit sites of this nature that there will be a cost involved in terms of payment.
Under the theme From SVG to the World, celebrating 250 years of biodiversity and conservation, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Botanical Gardens will be celebrating a year of exciting activities. Curator Gordon Shallow revealed that the program will kick off on January 23rd with a reenactment of the arrival of Captain Bligh, who brought the breadfruit plant to the island. The head of the oldest botanical gardens in the Western Hemisphere said that the event will commence at the Bay Area at Rose Place, followed by a parade to the botanical gardens.
Well, this will entail a parade starting from the Rose Place area, which is just basically near the Agricultural Import Warehouse, and it will be coming up to the Botanical Gardens, where we'll have a reenactment of Captain Bligh bringing the breadfruit and the other plants that he brought and handing over to the administrator. Okay. Now we would have schools will be involved, the schools in the Kingston area, as well as different groups.
Shallow is advising visitors to the gardens to ensure that they protect the 250-year-old facility, which is the oldest functioning institution in the country. He mentioned that littering and stealing of the plants have become a serious concern.
There's always room for improvement. We have a bin strategically located at one of the washroom areas that persons can leave their litter there, but generally ask persons to leave with their litter. The other more significant thing is that of damage caused to plants based on theft. You still have one or two persons who may come and may see a plant that they like or two and may break off a branch or steal the entire plant. We've had that incident as recent as just last week, where an area that I myself went out and designed and put in some crown of thorns, some euphorbias, the general public will know them as crown of thorns, some very beautiful colors, and they're all gone basically.
As the United Nations declares the launching of 2015 to 2024 as the UN's International Decade for People with African Descent, the Garifuna Heritage Foundation will be hosting a summit to explore the African aspects within the Garifuna culture in SVG. The summit officially opens on March 11th at the Peace Memorial Hall with a featured address from Dr. Sheila S. Walker, a scholar from the global African diaspora, followed by many other activities hosted by the Garifuna Foundation. Speaking at a press conference earlier today at the Peace Memorial Hall, representative of the Foundation, Fitzgerald Providence, says that the Foundation is pleased to have the support of both the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education, as well as the various other ministries.
This summit will be held from March 8th to 15th, 2015 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the theme, The Garifuna, a Nation Displaced, Cultural Rights, Economic Survival and Repatriations. We are pleased that the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, the Ministry of Education and other ministries will be collaborating with us.
Providence further invited persons to attend the opening ceremony, adding that there will be numerous delegates and other Garifuna practitioners to entertain and educate the public about the Garifuna people.
We are expecting national delegates from Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and the United States of America. We will also be welcoming scholars and practitioners of the Garifuna heritage and culture from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and overseas to be present for the week of activities.
Still to come, Nemo receives more relief assistance. More stories on the local scene when SVGTV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. National Emergency Management Organization NEMO on Tuesday received a check for over $5,000 towards relief efforts. The donation came from a small steering committee in the Cayman Islands established in December following damage from the December trough system. Belinda Francis, the representative of the group, says they held fundraisers to assist with the recovery efforts.
Even though we fell short of what we were hoping to get, we were able to raise US $5,145, and we're hoping that will be able to contribute and assist someone or persons with getting their life back on track. So I'm here this morning to present to NEMO on behalf of the group, and part of, I guess, one of the groups that we would like to thank as well for assisting us is a group called the Missionaries of the Poor, which is affiliated to Father Holong in Jamaica. They assisted us greatly with the fundraising efforts that we had. Also Foster's Food Fair is a local supermarket there that assisted with providing the food for the breakfast that we had. And we also had assistance from civil servants and the statutory body that I work for, which is the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority.
Director of NEMO, Howie Prince, expressed his organization's gratitude to the group.
Belinda Francis for bringing this check valued at over $5,000, which will go towards the relief and recovery operations consequence on the floods in 2013. Yes, we do have a lot of work to be done. We still have at least one shelter that is opened, and we must continue to feed, clothe, and provide basic amenities for these persons, and we continue to rebuild homes for those persons who have been affected. Although there's only one shelter that is open, there are several persons who remain, some of them at their homes, some of them with friends and relatives. They are displaced, no longer having a place to live, and the government continues to try to rebuild for all these very unfortunate persons.
Meanwhile, Prince says Nemo is hoping to close all shelters associated with the December 2013 disaster by the end of February this year.
But we are currently also building houses in Hope, which is not far from the Rill and Hill area. And we hope within a couple of days, weeks at the very most, to be able to relocate all those persons who are in the shelter. So much work that has to be done. The damage on the infrastructure is still being repaired. Many bridges, some of them are under construction. Many meters of roads that were devastated. And I think the hardest part of it still would be the hurt that people feel from the loss of life and the loved ones who perished during those floods. Those can't be repaired. That damage is extremely difficult to repair. It takes a lot of time and healing for people to come to grips with this kind of thing. We offer all the assistance that we can to cushion those impacts, but we also empathize with their feelings at this time, and as always, we hope that they can bounce back, being the resilient people that we are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
As general elections draw closer, SVG-TV took to the streets to test public sentiment on the upcoming general elections and the perceived state of preparedness of the various parties.
I will to the Prime Minister as a political scientist, and he will know the best to call it. I think he has done well. He's a great leader, so in any event, whenever we call it, it will be 10-5.
If he does, I think the chance of winning might deteriorate, and he had a good chance now winning if he call it this year than next year.
So you think all the political parties are ready for election here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
No.
Okay, why you say that?
Because the NDP not ready.
Doing very best to get support. You know, sometimes you ought to put a piece of iron in people's mouth and things like that.
The Prime Minister wants to call election. Let him call it.
Yes, I think he should call it soon, because the Prime Minister of this country, you really have to buck up on what he's doing. He's not doing a good job, seriously.
If he's to call it, it's later on in this year. He has so many projects to come on stream, and I do believe that he's hoping that these will come on stream first before he does it. Also the airport. I do believe that until the airport becomes operational, which hopefully might be later on this year, and then he will call an election.
Do you think all the political parties are ready for the upcoming general election?
I can't say no, because the ULP still has some candidates to be put in place. I do believe that they are on the verge of getting them ready, and it seems as though the NDP already have their candidates. Talking about the Green Party and Anicia, I'm not too sure about those two parties, but I know the two main parties seems to be on stream for that.
The National Lotteries Authority has announced the top winners of their latest game. Product Development Officer Anthony Denny says that the game was done in the Christmas spirit as a way of giving back to their customers, adding that the NLA is very pleased to reward loyal customers from time to time.
And here this morning we have Mr. Leroy Mullerine. He, our first prize winner, $1,500 per month for the entire 2015. The second prize of $1,000 to Mr. Desmond Hillocks. He's a resident of Paul's Avenue, $1,000 per month for the entire 2015. And the third prize of $500 to Mr. Armand Delplesh of Gibson Corner. He will receive $500 per month for the rest of 2015. So these three gentlemen, there seemed to be a bias because there's no ladies winning as far as this promotion is concerned, but I congratulate them for the rest of 2015. They will be coming to the National Lotteries Authority to more or less pick up a salary, right?
The top winners of the game also expressed their feelings on winning the game.
I myself have been surprised and elated when I received word that I was among the prize winners.
I always been an optimistic person, and even self, I ain't win. I just feel like I win. Because even if I buy a ticket, it could be Super 6, Street, whatever, I feel like I win. And that is me all the years, feeling winish. And I know that one of these days, I would win something.
Please, I win a little things from them before. I win a trip, was to go to a hotel in somewhere, document. But at the same time, I took sick with my heart. So I could not have make it. I had us to go away to seek medical.
The annual Christmas barrel concession has been extended into this month. According to a release by communications consultant in the office of the Prime Minister, Elson Crick, the government concessions on Christmas barrels have been extended to January 17th. A 4-month jail term was this afternoon handed down to Grafton McDowell, a 38-year-old laborer of Rillenhill, by Magistrate Carla James, after he was found guilty on 2 separate charges of causing actual bodily harm and theft. McDowell, on November 29, 2014, was accused of approaching Cassian Hutchinson of New Montrose at the cemetery corner opposite Randy's Bakery and placing his hands around her neck, snatching her handbag and fleeing the scene. The bag contained a cell phone and a wallet containing $10. The police intercepted the defendant in the vicinity of the Botanical Gardens. McDowell was last October ordered to pay compensation of $1,000 for stealing another female's chain, which he did not pay. As a result, he will also spend an additional 6 months at Her Majesty's prison. Before sentencing, Chief Prosecutor Adolphus Delpeche told the court that McDowell's main target is women, who must be protected at all costs from such characters.